Hi, and welcome to your tutorial. I'm Nab from mockexam.ca. You may know me from my mock exams or my famous IFC tutorial. Well, I did have lots of requests on preparing a good tutorial, a very solid tutorial on CSC, and here we go. We do have one. First of all, thank you very, very, very much for your trust, and I'm sure you won't regret it. Before getting serious, please don't mind my glasses. It's not for look or beauty. I do have a vision problem. Actually, I'm legally blind. I do have 15 to 20% vision left. And that's why I have to wear glasses because my eyes are super sensitive to any types of lights. And don't get me wrong, my eyes might not see well, but my mind is super bright, and I'm sure I can help you throughout this journey. Let's set some ground rules here. Rule number one, we are in this together, and we do share a single target. What's that target? Getting CSC done. Rule number two, the only thing I need from you is your full focus and attention. Let me take care of converting those 600 plus boring textbook pages into smooth and sweet lectures and exciting journey for you. Rule number three, I have broken down every chapter into small lectures. Each lecture starts with an opening and intro talking about the topic, gives you an idea what we will cover in that lecture. And then you're going to see a slide related to that lecture. And in that slide, we will cover all the details, ins and outs related to that topic and lecture. Rule number four, and the most important one, right after each lecture, not chapter, each lecture, you're going to see a quiz. And please take that quiz. I do have a reason for it. That quiz contains a questions. It can contain 2 questions or 10 questions or 15. Okay, it depends on the topic. But those questions are type of questions you might get on your final test from that lecture. So you may ask, why didn't you put it just after each chapter? Why after each lecture? Because I don't want open tasks in your mind. After each lecture, depending on how easy or hard the lecture was, you might say, okay, I just watched this lecture, I learned everything, but what type of questions I might get from this topic? I want to solve that problem. I don't want any open tasks, any thinking, any wondering, and any guesses about that topic. We're going to close it right away. And please remember, throughout the course, if you have any question about a lecture, a chapter, a quiz, anything, you name it, just message me or ask in a Q&A part. I will respond ASAP. Again, thank you very, very, very much for your trust. And we will get it done together, I promise. Let's get started. Shall we start chapter 1? Let's get to lecture 1. Governments sometimes want to have a new project, like have a new highway or spend on military. And companies also want to expand their operation by adding a new manufacturing plant or add a line to their production line. But they don't have the money to do these projects. Or maybe they have it, but they don't want to spend it from their own pocket. So what do they do here? They borrowed from investors like me and you. How? They issue securities. By securities, I mean it could be bond, common shares like stock. We will get into details of securities, so don't worry, just get the whole concept here. So they will issue security and say, hey people, come, give me money and get my security. And depending on the type of security you get, you will make some profit. And win-win, everybody's happy. This is the whole foundation. But let's imagine this. There is a company planning to expand the operation and needs money. So the company issues new stocks. At the same time, you, as an investor, you have extra cash, extra money, some savings, and you want to buy stocks. Now, how do your savings connect with the company's need for funds? That's what we're going to uncover in this lecture. And we will talk about key players in this transaction and in this scene. Let's get to it. All right, let's get this lecture done. I want to talk about key players in this example. Player number one, you. In this example, you have extra money that you want to invest. So you're called supplier of capital or lender or investor. These are the names that you're tagged with in this scenario. Player number two, the company. The company needs money to expand its operation. So the company is called user of capital or borrower or security issuer. Now, how do you and the company connect? This connection occurs by a financial intermediary that stays between you and the company. So, these financial intermediaries basically match you as an investor with the company as a user of capital and get profit from this connection. But why do they get profit? Because let's face it, you don't know the company and the company doesn't know you. So you guys need a matchmaker that can be trusted and can assure you that, hey, your money is safe. There are different types of financial intermediaries. Like what? Like investment dealers or so-called brokers, mutual fund dealers, banks, credit unions, trust companies, and so on. Now, this was an overview of financial intermediaries, and we will definitely dive deeper to every element and factor that I've mentioned in this slide. But there are three main questions regarding this transaction and scenario. Let's answer those questions. Question number one, who makes sure the transactions are cleared and settled? So these clearing and settlement processes, I mean moving money from you as an investor to the company and moving stocks from company as a security issuer to you is done by third parties like CDS or Clearing and Depository Service Incorporation. Question number two. Let's say the financial intermediary got broke and insolvency happens. What happens to your money? Who's going to pay you back? The answer is organizations like CIPF or Canadian Investor Protection Fund that acts as an insurance and makes sure that your money is safe in case of insolvency. Question number three. Who regulates and set and enforce rules to these financial intermediaries? The answer is provincial regulators or so-called securities commissions. Each province in Canada has their own securities commission, and these financial intermediaries are regulated provincially. But the point here is provincial securities commissions don't directly go and check each financial intermediary independently. Instead, they delegate some of their powers to self-regulatory organizations or SROs, such as IIROC. We will definitely dive deeper into each of these three questions, and we're gonna zoom in each term in the future slides and lectures and chapters. So don't worry, just stay tuned. You did a great job. We finished our first lecture. In the previous lecture, we talked about financial intermediaries. We now know that financial intermediaries are places that act as a middleman between savers and borrowers. In this lecture, we want to know different types of financial intermediaries. So let's get it done. All right, let's get this lecture done. What are financial intermediaries? In simple words, we said that financial intermediaries act as a middleman between savers and borrowers. In this lecture, we're going to dive deeper and know different types. There are two main types of financial intermediaries: deposit taking. I mean, people can go and open up checking and savings account and deposit their money in that financial intermediaries. What are the examples? Banks, credit unions, trust companies. These are deposit taking financial intermediaries. And the other type, second type, is non deposit taking. Like what? Like insurance companies, investment dealers, mutual fund dealers, and pension funds. These are non deposit taking. People cannot go there, open up checking and savings account, and deposit their money. That's why they are called non deposit taking financial intermediaries. Now, let's zoom in on non deposit taking financial intermediaries. More specifically, on the difference between investment dealers and mutual fund dealers. Because we're going to hear these two terms a lot throughout the course. Investment dealers are financial intermediaries that provide services like investment advice, executing trades. Different types of securities are offered, like stocks, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds. They execute trades on behalf of the client in secondary market. We will talk about secondary market in future lectures. They underwrite new securities in primary market. Underwriting means taking care of all paperwork to issue a new security, new stock, or new bond to the market, and facilitating mergers and acquisitions. We're going to talk about primary market underwriting in details in future lectures, but these are duties and responsibilities of investment dealers. In the real world, the examples of investment dealers are JP Morgan Company, Wealth Simple, and Morgan Stanley. These are all investment dealers. On the other hand, mutual fund dealers are financial intermediaries that provide services like buying and selling mutual funds. Only mutual funds. Real world examples of mutual fund dealers are Fidelity Investments, Vanguard Group, and BlackRock. These are the real world examples. You did it. But remember, consistency is the key. I'll see you in the next lecture. It's time to dive deeper on investment dealers and know the roles, types, and services they offer in details. Basically, this lecture covers everything you need to know about investment dealers. Let's get to it. All right, let's get this lecture done. What do investment dealers do? Or I better say, what roles do they have in Canada and what services they offer for Canadian securities industry? Number one, they connect people. We talked about it. We said that you can think of investment dealers as matchmakers. Let's say a company wants to raise money by selling shares, and you're looking to invest. The investment dealer steps in to connect the company with people like you. They make the trade happen by either acting as your representative or agent or buying and selling on their own. Service and role number two, acting as agents or representatives. Imagine you want to buy shares of a company, but don't know where to start. You go to an investment dealer and they find someone selling those shares. They handle everything for you, and in return, they charge you a small fee. It's not small anymore, but a small fee called a commission. Here, the dealer is like your personal shopper. They don't own the shares, but help you buy them. Role or service number three, acting as principals or traders. Now, imagine the dealer already owns the shares you want to buy. Instead of finding someone else to sell them to you, they sell them directly from their own inventory. The price they sell it for might be slightly higher than what they bought it for, and that difference is in their profit. For example, let's say a company is selling new bonds. The dealer might buy all the bonds up front, taking a risk, and then sell them to individual investors like you. This process is called underwriting, and it's how dealers help companies raise money in the primary market. What's primary market? A place where new securities are sold for the first time. Number four, supporting the secondary market. After you buy shares or bonds, you might decide to sell them later. The secondary market is where previously issued securities are bought and sold. Investment dealers make this process smooth. For instance, if you want to sell your share, they might buy them back into their inventory or find another buyer for you. This makes it easier for everyone to trade. In other terms, they add liquidity to the secondary market. So you can buy and sell faster and more smooth. Number five, acting as market makers. For certain stocks and shares, dealers ensure prices stay stable. For instance, if a stock's price is swinging, going up and down too much, they might step in to buy or sell and balance things out. Number six, facilitating large trades. For big clients like mutual funds or pension funds, dealers handle bulk trades efficiently, ensuring everything goes smoothly without disrupting the market. Because let's say if a big client want to buy millions of shares, the price of the stock might swing a lot. But investment dealers take care of this swinging and do this trade smoothly without disrupting the market out there. Now, let's get to types of investment dealers. There are three types of investment dealers. Number one, retail firms. Retail firms are dealers that work with individual small investors like you. There are two different types of retail firms: full service dealers and discount brokers. Full service, let's get to full service dealers. Imagine you're new to investing and want advice. A full service dealer not only helps you buy and sell, but also gives you personalized advice, like a financial coach. On the other hand, discount brokers, if you already know what you want to buy, you're a seasoned trader, you can use a discount broker. They don't give advice, but charge lower fees for executing your trades. It's like using a self checkout at a grocery store, quick and effective, but no help available if you're confused. This was not a good analogy. I mean, there are some employees out there in the self checkout, but you get the point. Number two, institutional firms. These dealers work with big players like mutual funds or pension funds handling large transactions. For example, if a pension fund wants to buy millions of shares, an institutional dealer manages the trade efficiently. Number three, integrated firms. These are the all rounders. They serve both individual investors and big organizations. Think of them as the department stores of the investment world. They have something for everyone. That's it. You did this lecture. You're doing great. And I will see you in the next lecture. Investment dealers are like a well organized team working together to manage investments and trades efficiently. They have three main departments: front office, middle office, and back office, each with a specific responsibilities. Think of them as different parts of a factory that ensure the final product, which in our case means a successful trade, is delivered on time and in great shape. Let's get to it. All right, let's get this lecture done. As I said before, investment dealers have three departments or sections: front office, middle office, and back office. Let's get to front office first. Front office is the face of the business. It is where most of the action happens. This is the client facing part of the organization, handling everything related to managing portfolios and making deals. Key functions or activities that happen in front office are: number one, portfolio management. Think of a portfolio manager like a chef preparing a perfect recipe. They mix different investments, stocks, bonds, ETFs, everything, to create a portfolio that matches the client's goals. Number two, trading. Traders execute buy and sell orders for securities, like chefs plating dishes. They ensure transactions are done quickly and at the best price. Sales. Sales professionals help clients understand investment opportunities. For example, if a company wants to issue bonds, the sales team explains why investing in them could be profitable. And finally, marketing. This team spreads the word about the firm's services to attract new clients, much like advertisers promoting a product. To summarize front office activities or functions, let's say you walk into an investment dealer's office to invest in mutual funds. The sales team explains your options while the trading team buys the funds for you. Meanwhile, portfolio managers design investment strategies to meet your long term goals. Now, let's get to middle office, the watchdog and problem solver. The middle office acts as the brain of the operation, ensuring everything runs smoothly and follows the rules. What are the key functions and activities happening in middle office? Number one, compliance. These professionals ensure the firm follows all legal and regulatory requirements. For example, they will double check that the new stock offering meets government rules. Number two, accounting. Accounting team keeps track of money flowing in and out of the firm. For example, they ensure your dividends are deposited into your account on time. Audits. Auditors regularly review the firm's processes to prevent errors or fraud. Legal. Lawyers handle contracts, regulatory filing, and disputes, ensuring the firm stays out of legal trouble. In summary, if you buy shares of a company, the middle office ensures the transaction complies with all market regulations, protecting both you and the firm. Now let's get to back office, the silent workhorse. The back office is where all the behind the scenes magic happens. They settle trades and handle administrative tasks to ensure everything runs like clockwork. What are the key functions or activities? Trade settlement. After you buy or sell a security, the back office ensures the transaction is completed. They transfer money and update records so that everything is accurate. Let's say you sell some stocks, and a day later, the money appears in your account. That's the back office ensuring the trade is settled correctly and on time. But why these departments matter? The success of an investment dealer depends on how well these three departments work together. The front office generates profits by bringing in clients and closing deals. The middle office ensures those deals are efficient, legal, and secure. And the back office finalizes everything, making sure trades are recorded and funds are transferred. By working in harmony, these departments ensure that investment dealers deliver top notch services to their clients while maintaining regulatory compliance and operational efficiency. It's like a symphony where each section plays its part to create a beautiful music. You did it. Keep going, and I will see you in the next lecture. When trades happen in the stock market, buyers and sellers exchange securities and money. Instead of settling each trade individually, a central system manages the process to make it more efficient. In Canada, this role is handled by CDS, Clearing and Depository Service. Let's get to it. Let's get this lecture done. Let's say we have buyers on the left and sellers on the right. First group of buyers have an account in investment dealer A and use that investment dealer to buy stocks. And we have second group that use investment dealer B. On the seller side, we have a first group of sellers that have an account in investment dealer C and second group who use investment dealer D. These investment dealers A, B, C, and D interact with each other many times throughout the trading day. And it's impossible to take care of A to Z of each transaction separately because they're busy with technical trading stuff. That's where CDS comes into play. CDS operates a platform called CDSX, which ensures trades are cleared, verified, and settled, completed efficiently. It handles trades from marketplaces like Toronto Stock Exchange or TSX Venture Exchange, OTC Market, and alternative trading systems. But how does CDS work? There are two steps. Step number one, netting process. Imagine multiple investment dealers, like I said, trading stocks with each other all day. Instead of settling each trade individually, CDS collects all trades and calculates a net balance for each investment dealer. For example, if dealer C owes 100 shares to dealer B but is owed 60 shares by dealer B, the net balance is simplified as dealer C needs to deliver 40 shares to dealer B. Step number two, clearing and settlement. After netting, CDS informs each dealer of the securities or cash they need to deliver or receive. This reduces the total number of transactions and ensures everyone's account are balanced. This is it. You have finished this lecture. You're doing great. Keep up the great work. I will see you in the next lecture. As I said before, the financial dealers are not the only financial intermediaries in the market. In this lecture, we're going to dive into other types of financial intermediaries, have an overview of each of them, and go through the key points and highlights of each of these financial intermediaries. Let's get to it. Okay, let's get this lecture done. We have 6 other financial intermediaries that we're going to dive in this lecture. Banks, credit unions, insurance companies, investment funds, consumer finance companies, and pension funds. We're going to have an overview of each of them and then assess key points and highlights of each of these financial intermediaries. Let's start with banks. Chartered banks are financial institutions that provide a range of services, including savings account, mortgages, loans, and investment products. I think we all know what banks do, so I don't need to elaborate more on this one. Then credit unions or Caisse Populaire, I'm not sure if I got the pronunciation right. This is the French version of credit union, are member-based financial institutions that provide similar services as banks. So the key point here is credit unions are member-based, those who share same um, ethnic or same neighborhood. These go and establish a credit unions and have an account there and use their services. Insurance companies. Insurance companies in Canada operate in two major areas, life insurance and property and casualty insurance. And I think we pretty know what insurance companies do because we deal with them every day. Investment funds. These are companies that pool money from many investors to invest in a diversified portfolio of securities. Examples include mutual funds and closed-end funds. Then we have consumer finance companies. These companies lend money to individuals who may not qualify for loans from traditional banks. They often charge higher interest rates. And finally, pension funds. These institutions help Canadians save for retirement by pooling funds and investing them in various assets. Now let's get to highlights and key points of banks, credit unions, and insurance companies. Let's start with banks. Banks operate under the Bank Act, a federal law that regulates their activities. Banks are categorized into Schedule 1, Schedule 2, and Schedule 3 based on their ownership and operations. Schedule 1 banks, these are Canadian owned, non foreign banks. Like what? Like RBC, CIBC, Scotia, and those six big banks. Schedule 2 banks are subsidiaries of foreign banks operating in Canada, like Citibank. Schedule 3 banks are foreign branches operating under the Bank Act, like Bank of America or Capital One. Now let's get to highlight of credit unions. Credit unions are regulated by the CCAA or Cooperative Credit Association Act, which restricts their investments and activities to maintain safety and soundness. So, the most important point about credit unions are they are operated by or regulated by CCAA. Now, let's get to insurance companies. There are two key points here. Uh, we do have a term called underwriting in insurance companies. What's underwriting? Underwriting is a process of evaluating risks and determining the terms and pricing for insurance policies. And the second term is reinsurance, the practice of insurance companies transferring some of their risk to other insurers to protect against large losses. This is called reinsurance. And that's it. You are now at the end of chapter 1. You did it. Keep up the great work and remember, consistency is the key.